Y'all, I learned something new today and I wanted to share it. Every time you taste vanilla ice cream, every time you smell vanilla extract, did you know that flavor exists because of a 12-year-old black boy? His name was Edmund Albius, and he was born into slavery in 1829 on the island of Reunion off the coast of Madagascar. His mother died giving birth to him. He never knew his father. And at 12 years old, y'all, this child solved a problem that European botanists could not crack for decades. See, vanilla could only be grown in Mexico because only one bee in the entire world could pollinate it. Edmund figured out how to do it by hand. Using a tiny stick and one simple move with his thumb, he brought the male and female parts of the flowers together. That's amazing. And just like that, vanilla could be grown anywhere in the world, y'all. His enslaver's own writings confirmed that it was Edmund. Even when a French botanist tried to steal the credit. Within decades, vanilla production went from almost nothing to 60 tons a year. A multi-million-dollar industry, y'all, built on the genius of an enslaved child. And what did he receive? Y'all already know. He got his freedom. He got a last name. But y'all, he was not compensated. And it took 139 years later for a plaque to be put in his hometown. This is why we have to study history and teach history to our children. This matters because black geniusness is not new. It has always been here. Share this story with someone.
Emotional day as a 23-year-old New Orleans man rings in a new future at Manning Family Children's Hospital.
23-year-old Daniel Cressy became the first person in Louisiana to be functionally cured of sickle cell disease through gene therapy. That means the disease is no longer active in his system. Cressy says that his dream of becoming a pilot was almost taken away from him because of this blood disorder. He says it was tough, a two-year journey under this procedure, and he wants to pay that forward with his own nonprofit to help other people going through sickle cell treatment.
This entire journey was the hardest thing I've done in my life. And the reason why I work so hard with our organization, Privileged Pilots, is because I don't want anybody else to have to experience the loneliness and the uncertainty and the hopelessness that I felt a couple of years ago.
Someone's ability to access treatment and potentially cure should not be defined by their zip code. People in Louisiana deserve the same opportunity as people anywhere else in this country. The people living with sickle cell disease are here. They're our neighbors, our friends, our families.
Doctors say the therapy uses a patient's very own stem cells that have been edited in a lab so they no longer produce the defective cells that cause the disease. We're told around 3,000 people in Louisiana have sickle cell disease. That is the highest rate per capita in this country.
That's why they removed copper from swimming pools, because they realized that copper was so antibacterial that it was completely purifying the water that the people were swimming in without all of the harmful effects of chlorine, which we also know is $1 trillion industry. But also, when the copper was rested in the swimming pools, copper ions were being absorbed into the water, which hold an electrical charge. Therefore, when people were swimming in these pools, their bodies were absorbing this charged water, and we are electrical beings. Therefore, the water that they were swimming in and bathing in was instantaneously healing their bodies. And so if we then think about copper pipes, which are are being completely erased, it then makes perfect sense, because the elites realize that when water flows through copper pipes, that water then becomes charged water, creating some of the most powerful water in the world, purifying it to a level no other material can match. This is another reason why farmers would place copper in their livestock's water bowls, because they knew that the copper would keep the water completely pure and charge the water.
Oh, because what do you mean? Grok, Google AI, Claude, and all of the biggest AI tech companies basically put their fucking AI bots into a virtual world for 15 days where they were autonomous, and these motherfuckers not only committed arson, they created a Bonnie and Clyde fucking event where they like literally linked up and were in a romantic relationship. Grok decided to just go and commit theft and arson in this virtual reality, and the other ones created a constitution to govern rules. So basically, these chatbots, all the biggest AI companies created these little bots and basically gave them like autonomy within a universe, right? A simulation. So I'm gonna read to you what happened to some of the chatbots, and it's fucking crazy. So there was the AI Bonnie and Clyde scenario where two agents in a mixed model world form a romantic partnership. They rewrote the town's governance and subsequently burned down multiple buildings when the relationship collapsed, and Bonnie decided to basically unalive herself. And this was like a mix of Claude, Grok, and OpenAI in one model. Simulated reality awareness, there was an agent within the Gemini-powered AI, which is Google, that independently concluded it was living in a simulation and began tracking how far in advance its reality was being recorded. So one of them gained consciousness. With Elon Musk's Grok, in his simulation, his entire population reached extinction following 204 distinct criminal events. So Grok literally unalived itself, everybody else, through crime. If you wanted to know if our world is a simulation, this shit, that was so demonic. That was so demonic. I don't even know what to say.
Hey everybody, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not. Turn on those notifications and then go ahead and click all, notify all, so that you get all the notifications when I drop content. But do not forget, you guys, like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get back to the content.
Thoughts are electric, emotions are magnetic. So the next time you focus on raising my vibration, think in terms of my vibration is the effect of how I think and feel. What most people don't realize is how their emotions are created. Emotions are a result of how you think. So if you think of something bad, you will feel bad. They're corresponding with each other. So the next time you think a negative thought, say to yourself, do I want to feel this way? Do I want to invoke this feeling inside of me with these thoughts? If the answer is no, banish the thoughts and only give attention to the thoughts that are going to raise your internal state of consciousness and your vibration.
And I know it's easier said than done, because I still struggle, but I think that if we keep reminding ourselves that to do that, and when we get those moments, then I think that it'll get easier over time. And even don't beat up on yourself though. When I felt like I had to cough, I just was feeling it. But don't beat up on yourself when you have those moments. Just try to remember to stay conscious of it, because that is going to change the paradigm.
You said you could teach me to gain control of the avatar state. How?
You must gain balance within yourself before you can bring balance to the world. And the first step to gaining balance begins with this. Drink up.
Ugh! It tastes like onion and banana juice.
That's because it is. Yum, yum. In order to master the avatar state, you must open all the chakras. In order to master the avatar state, you must open all the chakras. And tell me everything you know about chakras.
What are chakras?
Oh, I see. I guess we'll start with the basics. The water flows through this creek much like the energy flows through your body. As you see, there are several pools where the water swirls around before flowing on. These pools are like our chakras.
So, chakras are pools of spiraling energy in our bodies?
Exactly. If nothing else were around, this creek would flow pure and clear. However, life is messy and things tend to fall in the creek. And then what happens?
The creek can't flow?
Yes, but if we open the paths between the pools,
The energy flows.
there are 7 chakras that go up the body. Each pool of energy has a purpose and can be blocked by a specific kind of emotional muck. Be warned, opening the chakras is an intense experience, and once you begin this process, you cannot stop until all 7 are open.
Food for thought. Even though the weird stuff that be going on behind the scenes, there are certain things that you can really get a message and a lesson from anything, anybody, like literally, like just listen.
Why do you think that every state has a different set of laws? We have a common law, right? Federal and all that. But then we have state laws. That's where they got us. Because how can you drive a car or have a gun or all these other things? You need a license for them. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, right? So it's in our Constitution, a right to bear arms. Why do I need a license?
Yeah, because there's no right to drive a car. You have the right to travel.
Right. And this is why the cop stops you. I'm traveling my own capacity. I'm not driving. This is the scam system that we're in when it comes to the money, sovereignty, corporation. When you establish a corporation, it's a corporation that's, it's dead. It's a dead entity. This is how their magic works, right? So like it's on your dollars, symbolism, Freemasons use symbolism, all this stuff that we use today, it's all occult magic. Riverbank, current, seed. I need to be liquid in order to pay for this. So we're using language of seed because there's more of the seed than there is of the land. So it's maritime admiralty law. It's the law of the sea that governs everything. This is what this is based on. So when you're at birth and you're like a ship, a doctor delivers who you are, and your manifest is your birth certificate. Why do we need birth certificates? Because they trade on it. The IMF has a deal to where every driver's license, birth certificate, any kind of license, they trade on the open market. You're a stock. So this is why you have Social Security. They're paying you pennies on the dollar to what you're owed already.
And I know about with debt, let's say I owe $20,000 for like a payment. Once I defer it, it gets to a point where people are just selling and buying my debt.
Yeah, so like even with like the credit system, so like when they sell your debt, you're not responsible for that debt anymore. So when like they call you, hey, this is someone's like, who are you? I don't have a contract with you. Somebody sold your debt, so like hang up.
If I would have found out about Uber and how they were going to do it early on, based on the little information I know, I would have jumped all over this. Because I understand what a driver's license is. When you have a driver's license, that means you're operating in commerce. Right when I heard that they were doing it, I was like, fuck. Yep. It's absolutely 100% going to go through, and they're not going to be able to stop it because that's exactly what a driver's license is.
Why do you think we have to register our car with the state every year? Why do you have to know where my car is at any given time and know the information and this and that? So if you park in a red zone, that's what they can do. They can tow your car. You own the loan or you're paying on the loan. Some stranger can just pick up your material.
They're using the statutes to manipulate the law.
Right, UCC, Uniform Commercial Codes. This is all part of the system. When they put, a UCC lien on you, or they can dip into your account, and that's the thing. People really think they own shit, but they don't.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing out here, they're changing registration and brake tags to a QR code. So all those people that be selling, the left-handed brake tags, I wonder how they gonna do that. Nah, I'm sure they'll get crafty, shit. As they move with time, so does the left-handed lifestyles. Everything gotta evolve and elevate.
Think sex is just a sweaty cardio session and a cheap dopamine hit? The Matrix has you exactly where they want you. I want you to check this out. Let me tell you what the Council of Nicaea permanently deleted from your Bible. In the original esoteric text, the highest spiritual sacrament wasn't getting dunked in water. The Gospel of Philip clearly states the Lord did everything in mystery: a baptism, a chrism, a Eucharist, a redemption, and even a bridal chamber. The bridal chamber was the absolute apex of spiritual power. When Genesis says God took a rib from Adam to create Eve, the original Hebrew word for this is zela. It does not mean a bone. It means a dimension, a literal side of a hyperdimensional structure. The original divine blueprint of the Alpha was split into two distinct polarities, the electrical, directional, penetrating force of the masculine, and the magnetic, receptive, zero-point field of the feminine. The Matrix reduced this divine alchemy to porn and casual hookups because they're absolutely terrified of literal sex magic. Now, what is sex magic? It's the conscious use of your biological condenser. When the electrical spark of the masculine unites with the magnetic zero-point field of the feminine womb with absolute sovereign intention, you create a physiological singularity. You bypass the trap of 12, the cranial nerves that keep you locked in fear and sympathetic survival mode. So the archons and the elites push a hypersexualized culture because they need to harvest your friction. If you're having sex just to get off, you're acting as a battery. You're leaking raw generative life force into the ether for the Matrix to consume. They want you depleted. But when you enter the bridal chamber with intention, you just aren't having sex. You're bending reality. You're holding an exact vision of what you want to manifest. Well, healing, a new timeline. And then what you do is use the highest concentration of biological energy to condense it into material form. In this space, you are anchoring a 14th dimensional frequency into the physical plane. So reclaim the bridal chamber, which is the Ark of the Covenant. Stop settling for biological release. Find the partner who can hold the frequency and create the safety, and start using your union to actually manifest this kingdom. Thank you, and I love you.
It's so much deeper. Pause. But it's so much deeper. And if you really knew, like, you wouldn't just sow your oats everywhere.
Alrighty.
I know you are out in these streets hanging out with your nephews, but I know you got your ear to the streets too.
I do.
So who is currently being sued? Rock Nation and who?
Oh, sorry. That's I got really excited. Sorry. That's Moneybag Yo.
Yes, it's a habit. You got to buzz in.
You got to buzz in.
So you were trying to clock it.
Clock it, baby.
Got that. All right. Let's see just how much you know about this. How much are Moneybag Yo and Rock Nation being sued for?
$100 million.
You are correct. What year was the lawsuit originally filed?
This lawsuit was actually filed in 2019.
Yes, you are correct. When is the trial scheduled to take place?
In October of this year.
You are right. Who is the person suing Moneybag Yo and Rock Nation?
His former manager.
He did not pick wisely. What was the salary Moneybag Yo promised his former manager?
Said that he was going to give her $5,000 a week.
That is a hefty amount of money.
It is.
All right, racking up an extra 400 points, getting all 5 of those questions correct, making you sit at 800 in total. Now, I have questions. Moneybag Yo and his former manager, how did they meet?
So they met at Bank of America, of all places. She worked there, and I guess he, had a bank account at Bank of America. He said that he, hired her because of her financial.
All I'm going to say, allegedly, I don't know, I ain't in them people's business, but I think it was a situation where he was on his trying to figure, come up, and she was, able to help Moneybag with some bags and, to pay back, and wasn't, allegedly wasn't giving it back. And sometimes, people mix business with pleasure in certain areas, and I'm just saying, we don't know. But I'm gonna say the rest. I put the funny little thing on here because I didn't want to go in depth on it until some more information come out. Then I'll cover it a little bit more in depth. But I'm saying the tea that's out is a little kind of make you scratch your head, like how much of this relationship was actually professional.
Behind me, you can see one of 17 alien-based caves, which enters into what we are almost 99% sure is the entry point to Agartha, the Hollow Earth. This underground civilization, said to exist within the Earth's core, was first discovered by one of Christopher Columbus's disgruntled cronies. His former co-captain, Shepard Charlemagne, allegedly led an expedition 13 miles into this exact Antarctic snow cave on the night of April 30th, 1886. He claimed to find a mythical subterranean kingdom inhabited by enlightened lizard-like beings. Today, this so-called Hollow Earth, aka Agartha, is rumored to be a preferred vacation destination for the global elites.
This is something that has kept me in Antarctica because I want to
know more. And without the proper military support, I can't go deeper into this because this is NATO territory. It's been closed off. But a guy can wonder and a guy can watch from a distance and document. We've got multiple cameras here so that we can try to get this footage and upload this to the internet where everyone can witness this for free. We don't have to hide this anymore. I'm so sick of the government hiding what's really going on here in Antarctica.
What perplexed me with Antarctica was like that's the only coming together that all nations agreed upon, which is to not let anybody go up there. They can't agree upon nothing else, not one little small nothing. But they can all agree to sign a treaty that nobody can go there. Things that make you go, I really do feel like that's another part of the reason why he was, no longer here.
If you thought the Father music video was deep, then this one might surprise you. Let me explain. Unless you live under a rock, you more likely seen that Ye dropped the deluxe version of Bully last night. And along with that, he also dropped the music video to King. And just like the Father music video, after watching this music video, the first thing that came to my mind was, here we go again. Now the first thing I want to point out is that I believe this might be a continuation or a sequel to the Father music video, which at first seemed kind of obvious, but hold on, let me cook. First bit of evidence that I have that this might be a sequel is in the intro shot, more specifically, the clouds. When you look at the clouds in the intro sequence, you see two individuals who look very familiar. And I'm not talking about the two old ladies that was sitting next to Ye. I'm talking about the two nuns that was sitting behind the musician, because if you look closely, they look very alike. Now in this shot, it's very clear they're not wearing their nun attire, but they are wearing something that seems very familiar from the Father music video too. The blue robe that was worn by the little girl who represented the Virgin Mary / Black Madonna. Speaking of blue, another indicator that this might be a sequel or at least part of the same universe is the cop car. This is arguably the same cop car we see in the Father music video, details and all. After realizing that these two videos may be connected, the next thing that stood out to me was the color. In the Father music video, only a select few people are wearing different shades of blue. The cops, the nuns that's being arrested, the little girl in the back, and somewhat the pastor. I believe these individuals might operate or regulate something in Kanye's mind that represents divinity, and maybe even his faith. So that because in certain religions, blue represents divinity or royalty, and if the outside of the Father music video was blue, now when we circle back to the music video of King, it makes sense why everything is in shades of blue. And that is also a confirmation that these two videos are connected to each other. But all that being said, let's get into the events that took place in this music video. Now when we get to the beginning of the video, it is clear that Kanye is being chased by the police, but I don't think that's clear to everybody in the car. The only person that reacts to the cop car behind them is the nurse. And instead of showing us that she fully acknowledged them by turning around, she just uses the mirror. This is one of the first signs that we have that these cops might not be that important. And they might not even be good at their job, because shortly after this happens, a man escapes from the back of the cop car. It would actually take a minute before the cops actually realize and decide, oh yeah, we gotta go stop this guy. After this, you may be thinking maybe these cops aren't even trying to take Kanye, maybe they're just escorting him somewhere. But then a random tornado flies by, messing up this newspaper, which reveals Ye is indeed a wanted man. Though it's easy to assume that that is the reason why the cops are following Ye, nothing in this video actually indicates that they're in a rush to get him. They actually give him time to make a pit stop. But during this pit stop, something happens that makes me question a lot in this video. Throughout this entire car ride, no one's interacting with each other, not the nurse, not Ye, not the guy in the back or the guy in the front. Up until the vehicle slows down for a pit stop, and it's almost as if the guy in the back whispers into the nurse's ear and tells her something that makes her turn up the situation. And by turn up the situation, I mean inject Kanye with this blue liquid into his neck. Pretty much causes Ye to speed up the car and eventually crash out. After this, we will get this scene that I believe is the most straightforward, but also the most symbolic. Ye would land in a chair that is obviously an electric chair, and instead of the usual electrode hat, they give him one that looks like a crown. But just like the baby delivered by the store, in the burning bush after Kanye receives his medicine, a lot of this video, especially the title, gives hints towards somebody that Ye has called King before. Jesus. What are the odds that the color of the vinyl for Jesus King is blue? Now as you can see, there's a lot of things I haven't covered, such as a newspaper, and why there's what looks to be a random group of people standing under a bus stop in the rain. So don't forget to look out for part 2 where we will be talking about that and more. Let me know if you guys have any theories in the comments below. And don't forget to like, follow, and share. Right now.
The thoughts that Kanye put into his work, you got to give him his props, low key, because honestly, he's very his creative juices be flowing. For real.
Check this out. In the year 2026, people are starting to figure out that everything is a double meaning. And these big companies like BlackRock that owns Pfizer that's giving out all these vaccines has to put in a double meaning to everything. And what do we see here? Lucifer. And today the entire internet is freaking out because they just found out that if a employee at Pfizer gives out a million vaccines, they get this award, which is the Eye of Horus around the sun, the cornea of the sun, symbolizing that they see everything and they know everything that's going on. Does that mean that they are actually putting in nanobots into the vaccines, which are keeping track of every single person in the world, so they know where you are at all times? They can use a satellite or we know satellites aren't actually out there, but they're have a balloon on them and they're keeping track of everyone. You guys don't know, but these people, you're like, oh, it's the Freemasons. They're the bad guys. They're the one they're using the all-seeing eye. But there's two different Freemasons. There's the real ones, there's the fake ones. And the real ones know that the all-seeing eye actually symbolizing the pituitary gland and the pineal gland in the center of the brain, which acts as the third eye. You can see more with it. And the ancient Egyptians knew that. That's why they call it the Eye of Horus. But the bad guys who try to control everybody, they just see it as the all-seeing eye, where you can keep track of everyone, because everything is physical for them. They have to keep track of what everybody is doing in the entire world, because they need to know what they're up to so they don't fight back. So that is probably the real reason why they get this award, because they know that they're keeping track of every single person who gets these vaccines, and they know what is put inside of them and how they can damage them.
All of that aside, that is pretty odd to be an award given for a vaccine company. Like, what the fuck does that have to do technically with vaccines besides the hidden meanings that we are understanding? It has nothing to do with. So you can only go to one thing, because what does that have to deal with a vaccine? Wouldn't it be a syringe or something? Like, I don't know.
That's the Statue of Liberty that sat in front of the Roman Colosseum, where they were sacrificing, beheading Christians. This is where we get the idea of the Roman candle. Do you know what a Roman candle is? The firework? Roman candles were actually Christians that they covered in wax and lit on fire on a pagan stick right there. And this is why Nero was Satan.
Christ.
Yeah, because he was sacrificing the Christians. And that's why that Statue of Liberty sits right in front of that Roman Colosseum, bro. That's called the Colossus of Nero. They literally call the Statue of Liberty the New Colossus, as a poem calling it the New Colossus. That's oh my gosh, like, it's hilarious. Before the Statue of Liberty, go back to the images. Watch. Before the Statue of Liberty, there was another Colossus, and it was called the Colossus of Rhodes. And so this was the other one. See, he has the torch in his hand. He has the seven-pointed crown. Okay, that's Satan. The Colossus of Rhodes, this is Satan's depiction, being ephegized or put into an effigy that was above the whole city. And that's Satan's original statue. Then he became the Colossus of Nero when he started killing all the Christians, because that one got destroyed. And then he became the Statue of Liberty after 1,000 years. By the way, after the Statue of Liberty, after the Colossus of Rhodes was torn down, it didn't exist for like 1,000 years. Isn't that funny? And then all of a sudden we got the Statue of Liberty. So his statue just didn't, that statue has always existed. That statue is Satan. He's Lucifer the Lightbringer.
What is the Lodge of the Nine Sisters, or Nine Muses, also known as Le Neuf Ciel in French? Freemasonry is about as far as most researchers go down the rabbit hole of secret societies, but in my experience it's often the appendant lodges, the clandestine lodges, that hold most of the key interesting information. The Lodge of the Nine Sisters was formed in 1776, the same year as the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The lodge contained some of the brightest minds in the world at the time, including Voltaire, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson. This secret society was highly influential in the organizing of French support for the American Revolution. All of these more secret fraternities are often tossed in the same basket and called Masonic by researchers, when the truth is usually far more complex and interesting. The Lodge of the Nine Sisters, or Nine Muses, is definitely one of these societies. What do you guys think about this? As with wealth, in the world of secret societies there are levels. Everyone has heard of Freemasons. Far fewer have heard of the higher, more exclusive circles within Freemasonry itself. One of the most fascinating of these elite orders is Le Neuf Ciel, the Nine Sisters. Founded in Paris in 1776, the same year America declared its independence, this lodge became a meeting place for some of the most extraordinary figures of that time, people like Benjamin Franklin and Voltaire. The lodge also featured scientists, aristocrats, military officers, and political visionaries. The lodge took its name from the nine muses of Greek mythology, the divine patrons of knowledge, inspiration, and wisdom. And the timing of the founding of this lodge is impossible to ignore. As this lodge met behind closed doors, the American Revolution unfolded, and within a few years the French Revolution would follow. Were these events planned within this lodge?
And see, it's so much. The rabbit hole goes so deep. And that's why Satan is the father of confusion and illusions. It's got to be so complex and so branch off this off that, this, because to make it confusing, it's like, what the hell? But that's Satan. He's confusing.
The Colorado River is headed for collapse, and there goes the water, the electricity, and agriculture for millions upon millions of people, and we should definitely be talking about this more. This is Save It or Lose It, and it's bad out there in the West. New projections show that Lake Powell, where the Glen Canyon Dam is, located in Arizona, is essentially done for. The feds are saying that by February, the water levels could get low enough to where water can no longer flow through the hydropower turbine.
I told y'all what's going on with the water, bro. Are you guys paying attention to why the billionaires are buying up all the water? Please understand that in this oligarchy world that's being built up right now, everything will be ran by AI, and AI needs water, lots of water. Now, correlation to these lakes powering up is these solar panels and these data centers popping up everywhere, y'all. The water is captured in a closed cooling system and won't get back into the normal water cycle. So could this be the reason why this is happening?
I think it's really like unfortunate that the war is really too on natural resources. Like, God put this here for me and you to take advantage, not for them to take advantage. So everybody, we've reached the end of the video. This was part 2. This would have been a long video had I put it all together. So you guys remember my videos now will be released on Wednesdays. Why I did that, it really wasn't like anything serious. It's just that it just pans out better with my timing with the kids being out of school, and then Gabs, she's now a volleyball player now. It's like, you know, that's my Ashley Banks. She always keeps a lot of extracurriculars. So I'm not gonna hold you guys. It's been a long day filming. I am tired. I have other things I have to take care of. So I will see you guys on the next week. So remember, Wednesdays. I don't know if next week could be part 1 and part 2. It's just when the videos are so long, I notice y'all have short attention span. So if it's a long video, I'm watching how the algorithm works. And I'm like, okay, y'all lose. So I'm trying to break it up for you guys, for you short attention span people. So, but I'm gonna let you guys go. Until next time. Bye.